Good morning, boys and girls. Today I'm doing a little video about your comprehension, A Visit to the Zoo. You can see the title at the top of the page, A Visit to the Zoo. Farad's class was going on a trip to the zoo. He had a list of things to take. Here's his list. Pack lunch, drink and coat. Farad checked to see if he had everything on the list before he left home. Here's his packed lunch, here's his drink, and here's his coat. At school, Farad lined up with his teacher, and soon a big coach arrived. Mrs. Davies, the teacher, said they could get on. Farad sat with his friend Joe. Farad and Joe talked all the way to the zoo about what they wanted to see when they got there. I want to see the seals being fed, said Farad. I've seen them before and they're funny. I really want to see the gorilla, said Joe. Can we go there first? We'll have to stay with our groups and go with where our teacher tells us, said Farad. The two boys talked about all the animals they hoped to see until the coach stopped at the zoo. Farad and Joe were in Mr. Jupp's group. We must check the seals' feeding time to make sure that we don't miss it, said Mr. Jupp, and then we will go and see the gorillas. Boys and girls, I'm going to ask you a wee question about the comprehension. Who can you find in the text where it says what animal Farad wanted to see? So see if you can have a scan through the text and see if you can find the animal that Farad wants to see. When you find the animal, put your finger on it. And meanwhile, I'm going to get my pencil. And here we are. So it says, I want to see the seals being fed, said Farad. So we can underline, there's the information that tells us the animal that Farad wanted to see. Now, very close to that, we can find the information that tells us what animal Joe really wanted to see. So if you read on, boys and girls, see if you can find where it says the animal that Joe really wanted to see. Okay, yes, here it is, just underneath. So I'm going to get my pencil underlined to show where I find that information. I really want to see the gorillas, said Joe. Okay, so when the boys got to the zoo, the first thing Mr. Jupp said was, we must check the seals' feeding times to make sure we don't miss it, said Mr. Jupp. And then we will go and see the gorillas. So the first two things that they were going to do as soon as they got was to check the feeding time of the seals and also so they wouldn't miss it and then go to see the gorillas. So I think Farad and Joe were very happy with the outcome. Boys and girls, on the next page in your little pack, you have questions to answer on the piece of text, A Visit to the Zoo. So obviously you all know that a question always has a question mark at the end. This is an example of a question, may be on your sheet or it may not be on your sheet. But an example of a question says, how did they get to the zoo? So the way I would like you to answer this question is we have to look over in the back to the text, A Visit to the Zoo, and we have to find the information. Okay? So have a read down through it, have a wee glance, a wee scan down through the text, and then we get to here, it says, at school, Farad lined up with his class and soon a big coach arrived. So what I could do, there's the answer. The answer is a big coach. So I could get a coloured pencil or a highlighter and I will underline it. I could even highlight it like this with my coloured pencil. Okay, a big coach. So whenever it comes to writing the answer over on your page, this would not be a good answer, boys and girls. Just one word, that is not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is a sentence. So how did they get to the zoo? I would write they, and use the changes into past tense, got to the zoo. So I start off with a capital letter. They got to the zoo in a coach. And what do you all remember what we need at the end of a sentence? A full stop. Boys and girls, this is a good chance for you to practice your handwriting too. Okay? Remember, we need a capital letter. What makes a good sentence? A capital letter at the beginning, a full stop at the end, finger spaces in between the words. All the small letters are the same height. The tall letters are all the same height. They're all very nice and tall. And we're writing on the line. Okay? And then we read our sentence to see, does it make sense? They got to the zoo in a coach. Okay? And that is how to write a good sentence. Boys and girls, have a read through your questions, and I would look for the answers in the text, and then I would highlight the answers when you find the answers. Highlight them, okay? And then when you come back over here, make sure if you have found the word coach in the text that you spell coach correctly here as well, okay? So I said take a little photograph of the word here and then try and write it over here yourself, okay? Or you can take the first three letters, C-O-A, and then write C-O-A, and then you go back and write ch, ch, okay? If you can't take a photograph of the whole word the first time. Looking forward to seeing your work uploaded, boys and girls. Keep up the good work. Bye.